Hello, this is Buzz Prime, and today on Kaiju Thursdays, top down, we're gonna look at the top 12 Gamera movies of my personal list. As you're wondering why I'm recording this video on why I'm doing this on the whole screen, I'm doing it by my laptop webcam, but with a new microphone added to give it the sound more quality, feeling great. But anyway, off of that other stuff. In other words, I have my camcorder being just so it's, and plus these videos need to be more open-minded, so yeah. Anyway, let's start out with number 12, which is Gamera Super Monster. As you probably know, but if you watch my review of that movie's really, really bad and really terrible. Yeah. Same thing with number 11, Gamera vs. VS. Again, it is pretty boring and pretty dumb, but yeah. Yep. Again, as you might be wondering why the lower tier stuff is, because both films have stock footage, so as other films, well, some of the other films from the Gamera movies, but, which is really interesting, but yeah. Number 10 is Gamera vs. Striker, which is the only video out of the entire Kaiju Thursdays gets 49 or 50 views per watch. Which is weird because this movie is basically in an expo and has a really creepy scene. And I don't know why this video got more views than anybody else. It got more views than my King Kong Escapes one, which is really weird. But yeah. Yep, this one, if you have seen that video, you know what my feelings were to that movie. Yeah. Anyway, number 9 is Gamera vs. Gamera, which is an okay film, which is really good. Has the infamous Gamera spinning around in circles, and its plot deals with all the other stuff, but yeah. Number 8 is Gamera vs. Ziggurat, which I kind of like it. Like the movie, but again, weird that this movie has C-word, but the movie prior to it has more views, which is weird. Number 7, Gamera the Brave. Yeah, when I did the initial review of it, I posted on the Kaiju Cast's Facebook group, and people talk about how it's underrated, which is kind of true. It is underrated, but it's really underrated. Yeah. Anyway, number 6 is Gamera the Giant Monster, which you probably thinking, I put Godzilla, the first Godzilla, at number 1 on last week's video. This week, I put the first Gamera movie. Why? Because the first one was the only one that is interesting. It is really pretty great. It has really interesting things, and it does introduce the Northern Kid, and yes, if you have seen more viewings, you can see, understand it. But it is still there. Okay, number 5 is Gamera vs. Barugon. The only Showa Gamera movie doesn't feature a child character. It is closer to a Godzilla movie, but the problems were Barugon and the other characters. But yeah. But anyway, number 4 is Gamera vs. Gauss. See, the 4th best Gamera movie is the one featuring a child character, but the child character is less annoying. It introduced Gamera's arch nemesis Gauss and has a better plot. But yeah, as you probably wondering, yes, the last 3 movies are the Heisei Gamera trilogy. Let's start with number 3, which is the least one, is Gamera 2, Advent Attack of Legion. That movie is pretty interesting, but yeah. I watched that movie. First time I watched it, something bad happened on the day, but again, it didn't happen again. But it's still pretty bad. But the movie itself is okay. Besides the scenes, first time I watched it, it had the scene where everybody was itching. The second time, it works perfectly fine. But yeah, the movie is pretty. Less of the major characters like Ashari and Spectre. The Spectre guy is rarely in the movie. Of course, Ashari did appear at the very end of the movie, but yeah. I don't understand why GK likes this movie so much, but yeah. But anyway, number 2 is the original Gamera movie. Not the original Gamera, the first Heisei Gamera movie. Gamera Guardian of the Universe, which is an amazing film. It's really great. It brought Gauss to the movie, back to the screen, and it gives Gamera reasons to fight other villains, and yeah. Introduced the main cast. But yeah. And number 1 is Gamera Free Revenge of Irish. That movie is still amazing. This movie is so amazing. It has character details. It has epicness. It has everything you ever wanted in a Gamera movie. It deals with revenge. It deals with understanding how Gamera's going through. It kept the main cast of the first movie, and it keeps wrapping up. It leads to the events of the second one, and plus, characters die in this movie. Gamera lost his arm. Yeah, this is a perfect Gamera movie. I don't know what would top it. Possibly in a future MonsterVerse Gamera movie, if Gamera actually gonna show up in the MonsterVerse. But anyway, or possibly a Shin Gamera, which would be interesting, but we don't know. Yeah, that is pretty much my 12 Gamera movies. Some of you like, it's interesting, but yeah, it is really interesting that I say that, because earlier this year first time I ever watched all the Gamera movies, except for the first one. I watched the dub first time and twice before I watched the original version. Similar I did with Godzilla when I watched the King of the Monsters dub twice before I watched the original movie. And there's the original. Again, I watched Gamera vs. Barugan in its entire language. So yeah. All honesty, Gamera vs. Gallus all the way through Gamera the Brave is the first time watching these movies. That's why I did the Kaiju Thursday, because these movies I want to see the Gamera filmography. At the time I watched all the Godzilla movies up until that point, because except for 4 of them. Since then, I watched 4 Godzilla movies I haven't seen. I watched roughly all the King Kong movies. And I watched every Toho movie ever made. That's it. That is pretty interesting that Gamera, I started the franchise, started this series with Gamera, instead of doing Godzilla, which took roughly the entire filmography and make people very boring and upset. But yeah. But anyway, with that talk. But anyway, next week instead of doing another top down, we're gonna do a dub battle. That's right, where pit Gamera's Giant Monsters first English dub, Gamera the Invincible, versus King of the Monsters 1956. That's right, you finally got a Gamera vs. Godzilla movie, but it is not a Godzilla vs. Gamera movie. This would be a video between both these two very different movies. So different. One has Raymond Burr, the other has Skeletor. Speaking of Skeletor, he's right there. Ignore the Lego stuff. But anyway, this is First Prime, CO2 and 10.